Welcome to Artist Library, and today we're going to look at Paul McCartney's lifestyle after he left the Beatles. Watch the whole video and don't forget to subscribe. Paul McCartney is a strong man with a significant net worth, in addition to being the iconic vocalist and songwriter of the formal band The Beatles. But have you ever wondered how this rock star actually lives? Paul McCartney, the former lead singer of The Beatles, is 80 years old and has 8 grandchildren. He is truly living the life to the fullest by spending time with his family, reading them stories, and breaking records. Now that McCartney's 4 children are all adults and starting their own families, he has devoted himself to being a grandfather. Despite McCartney's admission that he is pretty normal grandfather, given his 18 Grammy Awards, we would classify him as a quite cool grandfather. McCartney taught himself how to play the piano, play the guitar, and write songs. His musical career began in 1957 when he joined the Quarrymen with John Lennon, a group that went on to form the Beatles in 1960. The Quarrymen's first hit song, Love Me Do, was quickly popular in the UK after that, and the Beatles went on to become rock and roll legends with songs like Let It Be, Hey Jude Come Together, and Don't Let Me Down. However, after the Beatles broke up in the 1970s, McCartney established himself as one of the most influential vocalists of his generation with this trajectory of success, and his music still inspires people to this day. He once owned a 2-acre estate in Hollywood Hills, California, with a French-style home that was built in 1930. At the time of the purchase, the 4,700 square foot home costs him $4 million, but is now likely worth twice that amount in the same area. In the early 1960s, when he was between the ages of 13 and 22, McCartney resided in a 2-story row house with his Beatles bandmate John Lennon. It was at this home that the two of them wrote many songs that went on to become the group's biggest hits. 5 years later, the singer spent £40,000 on a 3-story house in St John's Wood, London. The location was exactly where Paul held the reception for his marriage to Nancy Shevell. The singer still owns a few properties in England, including his enormous 150-acre estate known as Blossomwood Farm, which is situated in the village of Peace Marsh in East Sussex, a county farm in Scotland. However, recently a neighbouring property went on the market for £16 million, indicating that since then, the value of the area has skyrocketed. The artist once resided in an incredible mansion that was also home to other celebrities like Madonna. Paul McCartney, who amassed a massive net worth, is known to have purchased this house in 2015 for $15 million. However, after holding on to the property for a long time, he ultimately decided to sell it at a loss. It comes as no surprise to anyone that he has invested a lot of money in vintage and collectible cars. Some of the vehicles that have passed through the singer's collection include a $30,000 Ford Console Classic 315, a $33,000 Ford Bronco 198, a $35,000 Land Rover Series I-86 station wagon from 1955, which he considers to be his favourite, a $37,000 Chevrolet C5 Corvette, a $65,000 1973 Rolls-Royce Corniche, an $85,000 Austin Healey 3000 from 1966, a $130,000 Lexus IS600, a rare 1967 Lamborghini 400 GT that belonged to Paul McCartney was sold at auction for $400,000. But without a doubt, the most famous vehicle to have ever been driven through the singer's garage was his 1964 Aston Martin DB5, in which Paul wrote the song Hey Jude. To give you an idea of how valuable this vehicle is, it was auctioned off in 2017 for a whopping $1,035,000. Paul McCartney typically leads a simple life and doesn't care much for extravagance, but the singer can certainly afford to buy luxuries occasionally. He constantly makes an effort to dress sharply and attend interviews and events to enhance his appearance. Paul has a Patek Philippe Aquanaut watch. It's a sporty design accessory with a rubber strap, and only 1,000 restricted units were made, which explains its markup price of $80,000. It appears that the singer really likes this watch model because he also has another one with a green dial. The rock legend practically never uses public aircrafts since he prefers comfort and solitude, but he also doesn't mind spending a lot of money on his charter aircraft. To get an idea of the cost, 1 hour of flying can cost up to $20,000 depending on the model and size of the jet used. The singer had a 3-year relationship with Dot Rohn and even brought her a gold ring in order to get married because she had gotten pregnant in 1960. However, she unfortunately had a miscarriage, and as Paul was only 20 years old, he didn't want to get married so soon, so the relationship ended in 1962. You can imagine from the Beatles' passionate songs that McCartney's love life was always pretty eventful, so let's take a timeline of his most. After falling in love with Isis Caldwell, who had also been guitarist George Harrison's lover in London, he briefly dated Thelma Pickles, who had previously dated John Lennon. After meeting in 1963, McCartney dated the actress Jane Asher for 5 years. After 3 years of living together, the singer was inspired to write songs like I Love Her, You Won't See Me, and I'm Looking Through You. They announced their engagement in late 1967, but broke up the following year after the girl discovered the singer's infidelity. Officially, McCartney has been married 3 times. His first union was Linda Eastman, a music photographer, in 1969. The couple had 3 children, Mary, Stella, and James. Heather, who was Linda Eastman's child, was also adopted by McCartney. After the tragic passing of his wife Linda in 1998, Paul drastically cut back on his visits of these magnificent country estate homes in California. Paul McCartney enjoys comfort in addition to the simplicity of country living. In 2002, McCartney married Heather Mills, his second wife. They had 1 child together by the year of 2003, who they had named Beatrice. Following their divorce in 2008, Paul wed Nancy Shevell in 2011. He is a man with a large heart who doesn't skimp out on donations. In 2020, for instance, McCartney funded 45 charities, some of which included Adopt a Minefield, Cruelty Free International, Everyone Matters, Greenpeace, and St. Francis food pantries and shelters. According to Forbes, McCartney had given more than $1 million to Peter alone. Additionally, he has collected money by performing at benefit concerts. For instance, his performance at the One World Together at Home concert raised $127 million to combat the effects of social isolation. Many people are curious about the size of Paul McCartney's net worth because he is one of the most well-known musicians in the world. There is no doubt that McCartney is one of the wealthiest rock stars in history because he has had over 60 years of a long and successful career that has seen him sell millions of records and draw large crowds to his concerts whilst he was still a member of the Beatles. He has also achieved 6 gold records and sold over 100 million singles. According to Forbes magazine, the co-founder of the Beatles made just over $100 million from solo concerts in 2019 alone. Are you perceiving these luxurious things with brilliant eyes? As the video ends, it will now begin to fade. What are your thoughts on these luxurious lifestyles like this one? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also enable the bell icon for more interesting content. Also, check out the other videos on our channel. We'll be back with some another amazing content very soon. Until then, it's a goodbye from Artist Library.